Fiona lowered her gaze and quietly urged Lin Tian to mount the horse before she reconsidered her offer. Since she had been the one to invite him, she felt slightly awkward about the situation. Lin Tian accepted immediately. Without any hesitation, he climbed onto the horse and settled directly behind her. The short distance between them caught Fiona off guard, causing her body to tense up from embarrassment. Sensing her discomfort, Lin Tian asked whether something was wrong. Fiona steadied herself with a slow breath and assured him that everything was fine. She told herself that she would eventually become accustomed to it. Not long afterward, the group resumed their journey. Riding near the front, Lin Tian appeared completely at ease as the procession moved forward. Behind him, Go Kwang and his men followed on their special mount. The ride proved exceptionally smooth, and Lin Tian found himself quite pleased with the arrangement. The faint scent drifting from Fiona's long hair added to the comfort of the trip. As far as he was concerned, no other mount could compare to the one he was currently riding. Far away, a very different scene was unfolding at the headquarters of the Dragon Slayer Guild within the War Empire. The enormous structures that filled the stronghold stood as monuments to the guild's prestige and authority. After abandoning their armies, the three kings had retreated there. Gilbert eagerly suggested that King Edward tour the guild's trophy museum, and Edward quickly agreed. While appearing interested in the exhibits, he was actually using the opportunity to evaluate the guild's true strength. He wanted to know whether they possessed enough power to deal with Lin Tian's three dragons. Inside the museum, enormous dragon skeletons dominated the displays. Their towering remains served as evidence of the guild's long history of hunting and killing dragons. Elsewhere, shelves held preserved hearts, severed heads, and other remains taken from dangerous monsters. Each trophy carried the name of the individual responsible for the kill. As they walked through the exhibits, Gilbert paused before a preserved beastkin catgirl specimen. He repeatedly commented on her beauty while staring at the display with obvious interest. Nearby, an overweight man was equally fascinated. He openly declared that he would pay any price to acquire the specimen for his own disturbing purposes. The tour eventually brought them to the passage leading to the museum's 5th floor. This level contained the most valuable trophies collected by the Dragon Slayer Guild's guildmaster. King Edward was surprised to learn that a single person's achievements occupied an entire floor. Upon entering, his attention was immediately drawn to a glowing purple crystal displayed at the center of the room. The object was the dragon core of the legendary crystal dragon. Around it were numerous rare remains and precious body parts gathered from extraordinary creatures. When Edward read the name engraved on the plaque identifying the owner of the collection, he stopped in place. The trophies belonged to the guildmaster, Elizabeth Timon. What shocked him even more was the realization that she had somehow acquired the Dragon King's core. For countless years, that core had remained in the Dragon King's possession, making it one of the most remarkable trophies in the entire museum. At that moment, Edward finally understood why the Dragon King had vanished in recent years. Without its core, survival would have been impossible for long. A cold smile appeared on his face as he considered the implications. In his view, once the Dragon Slayer Guild became involved, the fate of Lin Tian's three dragons was already drawing near. Meanwhile, deep within the desert, Lin Tian's group continued pushing through powerful sandstorms that swept endlessly across the wasteland. The harsh conditions were taking their toll on everyone. Go Kwang struggled to keep pace and eventually began grumbling that Lin Tian was moving far too quickly. He complained that those following behind were barely able to keep up and felt as though every bone in his body had become dry and fragile after traveling through the desert for so long. After some time, the group arrived at a rocky overlook above a large valley. Fiona studied the landscape below and confirmed that they had finally reached the location they had been searching for. One of the goblins leaned forward to inspect the area beneath them and remarked that he had no desire to stay in such a dreadful place any longer. He urged the others to descend immediately and prepared to jump down first. Before he could do so, Lin Tian stopped him. Something about the terrain below had attracted his attention. He directed everyone to examine the unusual patterns scattered across the sand and pointed out that hidden sand traps were spread throughout the valley. According to his assessment, anyone who jumped down carelessly would likely end up becoming food for the creatures lurking underneath. The goblin immediately crouched down to take a closer look. Curious about what was concealed beneath the sand, he activated his clairvoyance ability. As his eyes began to glow, his vision pierced through the thick layers below the surface. What he discovered matched Lin Tian's warning perfectly. Massive sandworms armed with rows of razor-sharp teeth were waiting beneath the ground for unsuspecting prey. He quickly informed Lin Tian that the valley was filled with enormous sandworms and described them as terrifying creatures. Fiona explained that despite the region's isolation and danger, the local goblin tribes had managed to survive there by hunting sandworms for food. According to her, the creatures were so important to the goblins that they were even used in their methods of reproduction. After hearing the explanation, Lin Tian understood why crossing the area would not be simple. Fiona, however, appeared completely unconcerned. With a small smile, she explained that there was an easy solution to the problem. A glowing magic circle soon appeared beneath her feet as she activated a spell. She calmly stated that they could avoid the danger altogether by flying over it. Moments later, both Fiona and Lin Tian slowly rose into the air. The sight left the three goblins completely baffled. They stared from the cliff in disbelief, unable to understand how a centaur could fly without possessing any wings. Not long afterward, the goblins managed to follow after Lin Tian. One of them waved from a distance, and called for the remaining two to hurry over as well. The group soon arrived at a massive mining tunnel and entered its depth. As they traveled through the passageways, Fiona explained that the mine was rich in elemental iron, the valuable resource used by the Sword Kingdom to forge its weapons and equipment. While moving deeper underground, Lin Tian reminded everyone to remain alert. He explained that goblins often adapted to the environments in which they lived and could evolve in very different ways depending on their surroundings. A goblin king that had developed inside a place overflowing with elemental energy would undoubtedly be far more dangerous than ordinary goblins. Keeping his warning in mind, the group continued forward with caution. Eventually, they reached a long flight of ancient stone stairs that descended deeper into the mine. Following the steps led them into an enormous underground chamber unlike anything they had seen before. Towering purple crystal pillars stretched from the cavern walls in every direction, filling the vast space with a faint, mysterious glow. As he observed the extraordinary sight, Lin Tian asked how Fiona could be so certain that the Goblin King was hiding there. Fiona explained that her tribe had once sought refuge within these caverns many years ago. Because of that, she still remembered the location of the goblin settlement and was confident that they were heading in the right direction.